everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
And happy Mother's Day.
Belated Mother's Day.
Mother's Day weekend just passed.
It did.
And happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers that listen, soon to be mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and everyone who's just a mom.
Yes.
Everybody.
Happy Mother's Day. How was your Mother's Day, honey?
Oh, fantastic.
That sounded very sarcastic.
No, it was good.
Okay. We are all so convinced that it was good.
It was good. We had dinner at my mom's. You unfortunately had to work.
I did work all day.
So it was just me and the baby. Not so baby anymore, but
that's what made it a great Mother's Day, right?
Yeah. Still
I
full of
wasn't
mom
there.
duties. No, that's not what made it good. Anyways.
You know what the best thing to do on Mother's Day is?
What?
A dad joke. I got my little dad joke book sitting here on the table, and I feel like I have to read a dad joke now every episode.
I can't wait to hear it. Maybe I'll get it, unlike the last one.
Here's a good one.
Little ASMR.
A man walked into a bar and ordered a fruit punch. The bartender said, "If you want a fruit punch, you'll have to stand in line." The man looked around, but there was no punchline. Dad joke.
Oh my God.
That was very funny. Everybody is laughing listening to this episode, besides you, so you know what? Whatever.
Maybe. If you laugh. Let us know if you laugh.
Look at my notes here. So, in Disney news, there was some big news that came out this recently.
Super duper. Like literally today.
Well,
last night.
Earlier, too, this week, there was other big news.
All kinds of big news. Number one, the news that we've all been waiting for. Tiana's Bayou Adventure has a opening date of June 28th, 2024.
That's a lot sooner than I thought it was going to be.
I know.
Like a lot.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be more like July, August.
Yeah, late summer.
Yeah, but
not this early in the summer. Is that the official opening date, or is that like soft opening started? Like, are they starting their soft open? Like, a lot of times they'll let people on the ride and do like special groups like pass holders or DVC members or Florida residents or cast members. Is that like a soft opening thing on June 28th, or is that like the official opening date?
The opening date is the June 28th, and this opening date will be preceded by previews for cast members, annual pass holders, and Disney Vacation Club members.
Technically, it'll be open before June 28th.
So that is the opening date for everybody.
That is the official opening date. That's not the soft opening.
No. The soft openings will happen before that.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We'll get people on that ride sooner than we know it. I'm really excited for this one. Splash Mountain is one of my favorite rides.
Well, Disneyland hasn't announced their thing for Tiana's. Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me because their Splash Mountain stayed open much later than the Florida one.
They think it's going to be late summer, maybe. Like later.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Not far behind, but they don't have like an opening date yet for that one.
Yeah.
But
I'm very excited for this. Splash
I wish
Mountain.
we were going.
Well,
for the opening.
Not going for the opening, but we'll go soon to see it.
I know, but anyways.
I'm very excited for this, if I can now finish my thought.
Go ahead.
It's Mother's Day, I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'm very excited for this. Splash Mountain was my favorite ride in Walt Disney World. I was heartbroken when they said that it was closing. But a lot of the previews and things I've seen, the animatronics for this look phenomenal. I think that this is going to be a great addition to the park, and I cannot wait to see it, and I just hope it really doesn't disappoint me. I don't think it's going to. I think we're all going to be wowed by this ride, but don't disappoint me, please.
It just has a lot riding on it. There were many people very upset when Splash Mountain closed and they announced the retheming of it, so I think that they know the weight that it carries, that they kind of have to make it good, you know?
I think that they understand that in most of these situations, that if they're going to change something, it better be better than what it was before.
Better be better. Hashtag
and when
better
they don't,
be better.
People get angry.
Yeah, we don't want angry people. And you're right. I do think that with all the things, the sneak peeks and previews of everything, I think it's going to be great. But in other news.
Big news earlier
this week, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party tickets.
That wasn't even the news I was thinking of.
Really?
But okay. Sure. Halfway to Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party tickets went on sale for anybody staying on resort property. May 15th is the official one for anybody not staying off property. So get your tickets because those will sell out fast.
Definitely. And go back and listen to one of our earlier episodes about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween and how they have the best darn time.
And they're going to have so many different things, though, this year. So we'd have to update our party podcast.
Different things.
Yeah. Mickey and Minnie have all new costumes, Halloween costumes. The parade time is earlier in the night, so that way it can be enjoyed by more. There's a lot of stuff happening. Check out my Mickey Travels page for more.
Those two things were a lot of stuff.
Ridiculous.
Let me write that down. Lots to do. 2 new things.
Oh, man.
Okay, I got that down.
There's more villains in the parks this time.
More villains. Ooh, that's
more
exciting.
Villains. And you can also meet Mirabelle and Bruno.
Wow. But I thought we don't talk about Bruno.
But it's his first appearance ever at the party.
Wow. I thought we don't talk about Bruno.
I know. Well, we do a little bit.
Apparently we do. The big news that I thought you were going to say that happened earlier in the week is the news that the Polynesian, the new towers at the Polynesian are going to be completed.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that happened this last week.
There is a lot of stuff that happened this last week. That the new Polynesian towers are going to be completed. These are DVC rooms. We're very excited, DVC members, to get more rooms. Traditionally, at the Polynesian, only deluxe studios were available there. Maybe we can
foreshadow that our next trip may end up there.
Maybe. We'll see. You'll have to wait and find out. But now there'll be 1 to 2, and I think even 3-bedroom villas. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. So we're very excited about that news. They are now accepting reservations for December of this year, which is actually sooner than I thought, too, in that case. So it seems like...
Especially because they're not completed yet.
Right.
So to open up reservations is kind of...
Well, but it'll be open by December. Yeah. They feel confident in that, clearly. A lot of news coming out that we were not expecting to be as soon as it was. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's a positive note that projects may be moving faster than expected, which is a good thing because Disney in the past few years here has been moving slower than expected. So it's nice to get some opening dates that are actually quicker than anticipated. Now, the Polynesian Towers, I know this has caused quite a stir in the Disney community here. I have to be honest with you, I don't understand.
Like why they don't like them?
Yes, like the uproar has been that it's not Polynesian enough. It's gonna ruin the skyline. It's gonna look awful. All of the artists' renderings that I've seen of this, the towers look absolutely beautiful and have that Polynesian flair. I don't understand.
I mean, the artist's depiction, I'm looking at it right now just to give myself a look. Like, I mean, it is very beachy. Do you want to take a look?
No, I've seen it. Okay. I know what it looks like. I think it has that Polynesian flair to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very airy. The roof is like kind of like that asymmetrical, like leaned back. And I mean, it doesn't exactly match the original Polynesian buildings, but I don't think it's meant to match them. You know? Like, I read a commenter that was like, I don't need it to match the 1970s version of the Polynesian. I want it to be newer. I want it, but I guess they wanted more. I think they wanted less elegance, like less of that like upscale-y feeling and more Disney theming. Like they wanted that same level of theming from the Polynesian with all like the flowers and the plants.
But I think you get that here. I don't understand
I don't
it.
know.
I think it's people being ridiculous.
Maybe a little nitpicky.
I think a lot of people sometimes in the Disney
I think it's going to be better
community
than the artist rendition, too. I think you have to take those, with a grain of salt,
Yeah, I don't understand.
Because things can change from those depictions.
They can.
It will be beautiful. I mean, it looks
It's gonna
gorgeous.
look beautiful. I don't understand why people are all upset about it. They're not putting another contemporary next to the Polynesian. Like, it has Polynesian theming, it has Polynesian flair, and I'm just excited that there's going to be more DVC availability at the Polynesian, which has traditionally not been the case.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a positive for folks, but people like to complain.
But we can't have positive.
No.
No
Anything they
positives.
do is bad if they change anything. Like, Walt Disney said, this is always in a state of becoming, that the parks are never truly finished.
Yep.
That you gotta adapt and change with the times. You gotta embrace it a little bit. I think that is the case with the Polynesian. So I'm excited about that news. I know a lot of people aren't, but if you aren't, then I don't know. Tell me why you aren't excited about it. I don't understand. Anyways. What are we really talking about?
What are we really
today?
talking about? We've gone on for a long time here with all these news updates, but I think it's good to talk about. Rope drop. Again, we have done 2 out of the 4 parks for Walt Disney World. The next on our list is Hollywood Studios.
Welcome
Which is-
to Hollywood. Da 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 Hollywood.
You don't even know the song.
Da 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 da. Are you ready to feel like a superstar?
All right, this park, I feel like we've been kind of like Debbie Downers with this park, especially during the day, because we've always said, like, there's not a lot of shade, this and that. It is a lot cooler at night, I do have to say. However, there are a lot of things to do right in the morning, especially if you're going during one of those really hot times of year,
Sure.
like midsummer.
Yeah, I don't think we've been Debbie Downers on
I
Hollywood
don't know.
Studios.
I feel like I just call what? I just feel like I always am.
I don't think so. I
No?
think this is just there's a reality to Hollywood Studios that it is
Yeah.
geared towards
I
an
guess,
older
yeah,
audience.
It's just having that plan of knowing that, it's you approach it differently than you do Magic Kingdom.
Of course you
Yeah.
do, because Magic Kingdom is geared towards more of an all-ages audience, whereas Hollywood Studios is really currently, in its current iteration at least, geared much more towards an older audience than towards younger
Yeah.
families. So when you have a podcast that talks about young families visiting the parks, it's kind of tough
Yeah,
to
we
be
kinda
like,
go
you need
to
to spend
Hollywood
a lot of
Studios.
time there when there's not much that you can do there with kids. That's all.
And there is. I mean, we talked about a lot of shows, but all right, let's talk about how we would rope drop this.
So what is rope drop? Again, for those who may not have listened to our first 2 episodes on this, we encourage you to go back and listen to the one on Animal and Magic Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
But what is rope drop?
Rope drop comes from the fact that most of the park, besides the main entrance and main kind of drag that you got going on, either Main Street or Hollywood Boulevard or any of those, that main Tree of Life area that we talked about, the rest of the park is literally roped off, in quotation marks, because there are ropes and cast members. So you can't go into those parks until the park officially opens. So basically they start letting people into the park without letting them into the whole park. So you wait for that rope to literally drop by getting there very, very early and being one of the first ones. And you have rope dropped.
Yep, so you're getting there right at park open. Before probably, but you're getting into the park right as it opens. Keep in mind, the advantages to staying in a Disney World hotel, resort
Yes.
hotel, you get in 30 minutes before everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a clear, distinct advantage, and keep that in mind if you make the good choice to stay in a Disney World resort hotel. Now, I think it's always important to keep in mind with rope drop, people's gut instincts are always to go to the most popular rides. Which is
Yes.
not necessarily a bad instinct. But you also have to recognize that everyone, once that rope drops, is going to flock immediately to Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Land on the island of Batuu,
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, or to Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah.
those are where your massive people
Which
are
is
going to
so
run
funny how
to.
things shift, right? You're just talking about how things change, and like now that those have been added to the park, people don't go to Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster anymore.
Tend not to at first.
Not to at first. You're right, at first, because those aren't more popular than Rise of the Resistance or Slinky Dog. So,
and then your people who are not in the know are going to tend to go right towards the first thing that they see in the park, the Chinese theater, and ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So my advice for rope dropping Hollywood Studios in its first, like the big take-home thing here, is I'm not going to Toy Story Land, and I'm not going to Galaxy's Edge first, and I'm not going and waiting in the line for Mickey and Minnie's. Galaxy's Edge, you just kind of got to buck up with Rise of the Resistance and buy yourself a Genie Plus.
I was just going to ask you, like, so we're not doing Genie Plus in this, but I really do think
also
Hollywood
have
Studios
to just
needs
buck up and buy a Genie Plus and get a Lightning Lane for Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to do that. You got to be right on at 7 o'clock, and you just got to get those and just bang them out. That is the most efficient, best way to do that, and it's going to minimize your wait times. If you go right to those rides, you are going to wait unless you are literally the first person.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you're literally
walking on.
Literally the first person.
Everybody's going there. So you just got to accept that. Mickey and Minnie's, you can literally almost every single day by like dinner time walk on to that ride. Waiting an hour plus early in the morning for that ride, not only are you probably going to wait in the sun for a majority of it.
That's the hard part about that line, is that most of it's outside.
But as the day goes on, that line is going to get smaller.
Yes. Because people flock to it, and then they ride it, and then they leave it.
It's the first thing that they see.
So
dum-dums walking into the park, they're going to be like, hey, Chinese theater,
nice.
look
they
at
just
this.
Don't know.
Oh, this is perfect. We'll ride this. This is a great ride. It's good for everybody, right?
Well, if they really are not in the know, they're going to say, hey,
Don't
great
bother.
movie ride.
Don't bother. No, if they're really not in the know, they don't even remember the great movie ride. They probably don't even know that it's there.
True.
Was there. Anyways, my advice here is go right. Which is the exact opposite of my advice in Magic Kingdom, which is to go left.
It literally
Here,
is. Not to confuse
go
you.
down Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
You go down Sunset Boulevard, you can bang out. Even if you have a family, but you have older adults that you know want to ride Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, these rides, it's the exact opposite of Mickey and Minnie's.
Yep.
These rides are going to start low wait times first thing in the morning. As the day goes on, those wait times are going to go up. After all the rest of the people went and did all that other stuff first, they're going to end up on that side of the park by the end of the day. And you're going to wait a long time. If you go right down Sunset Boulevard, go right to Tower of Terror, ride Tower of Terror, then bang out Rock and Roller Coaster immediately after that, you're not going to wait in the lines that you're going to have to wait later in the day.
Yeah.
And that's being done without Genie Plus, right? You can just go right into the park, bang a right down Sunset, and get those two rides, two of the bigger rides in the park, done with minimal wait times.
Yeah. And I have to say, if you do buy the Genie Plus, as we suggested for Slinky Dog and Rise of the Resistance, you have that. So if you ride Slinky Dog later in the day, you could probably get on Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster another time without waiting in that line again. So you're kind of, there's not just like, oh, it's early in the morning. I don't know if I'd run right to Tower of Terror at 8:30 in the morning or 9. What an adrenaline rush.
Yep. There's no better way to get your day started. No better way.
I know. It's one of your favorite
Start
rides.
with a bang. Boom. Right to Tower of Terror and Rock and
I
Roller
do want to
Coaster.
say that there is still parent swap that you can take advantage of too if you have kids who really want to ride it or kids that don't really want to ride it.
Rider swap is key.
So you can do that. Both parents get to ride, kid gets to ride twice kind of thing. You both get the experience with your child while the other child or other people wait because they don't want to ride it. But definitely take advantage of that because it's going to happen in this park more than other parks with people who might not want to ride it. Mm-hmm. All right, where are you going next?
So while you're over in this quadrant of the park down Sunset Boulevard, this is not something that you need to do first thing in the morning, but we did, and I think it worked out well. If you have a small kid who really likes cars and likes Lightning McQueen, It's a little short show, the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy. It's nothing super special, but our son loved it.
Yeah.
And I think that most kids do. It's like a lot that's happening.
It's actually quite overstimulating.
It's great for kids. Like, they just love it. They eat it up. You're
There's
racing
smoke and
there's
racing
smoke
and lightning and
then the
lights
weird
are
dude, the
flashing
green
and
guy,
then
the green car is taking things over and
Yeah.
like causing
Things are
issues and all that
exploding,
stuff.
things
And
are-
Mater's singing, and it's a great time. It's a rootin' tootin' heck of a good time.
It's chaos.
It's not going to take long.
No.
And you can literally walk in first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Those shows, I think, they're like 10 minutes long. Like, it's
Yeah,
a pretty
no,
quick
it's-
turnaround.
Yeah. And it's AC.
After
So,
that, especially
nice.
if you're in the summer,
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, if you want to watch that show, right there next to the Tower of Terror and the entrance into Phantasmic. I like to walk over to my little fruit stand that's over there down Sunset Boulevard and get myself a nice frozen lemonade. Those frozen lemonades, man, that you can get at the fruit stand are so good, and there's nothing more refreshing than one of those on a hot day. Reason why I want to point you towards Beauty and the Beast show first thing in the morning is because that theater is not air conditioned. It's an open air theater. The sides are open. They have some fans and stuff like that that keep the air circulating, but that can get hot in the middle of the day. So doing that show first thing in the morning, while it's still cooler and not super hot, keep in mind that that show only shows a certain number of times throughout the course of the day. So getting that ride out of the way, getting that show out of the way first thing in the morning.
So this show is kind of the opposite of what we usually say about shows and go in and relax and AC and take a break.
Yeah, because it's not in the
hot.
AC.
It's still hot. There is kind of a breeze when you go in there, though. So, I mean, you're in the shade-ish, depending on where you're sitting. But a thing to know about the show, too, it does close due to inclement weather. Because it is technically an outdoor theater, even though there's a covering. So, be careful of that. But, yeah, definitely
All the more reason to go in the morning.
Yeah, just go in the morning before that thunderstorm hits. But yeah, where are we going next?
After Beauty and the Beast show, I am going to walk across the park. I'm going to head into Toy Story Land. Toy Story Land, something to note. Not a lot of shade. Toy Story Land is one of the hottest parks of Hollywood Studios. Not something that you want to be doing in the heat of the day.
Yeah, midday. And I think it's because it's like new and like all the growth that's like happening is still.
Yeah, and it's
but
intended...
there's really not a lot of trees.
Right, because it's not. You're in the backyard. You're not going to have trees.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to just have like
it's
grass.
tall
and
grass
stuff.
around you and stuff.
Yeah.
It's part of the theming. It's good theming, but it also you don't have a lot of shade.
And it's just pavement. So heat.
This should put you around somewhere in the area of maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock by the time that you've done this. You know, you've rode Tower of Terror, you've gone on Rock and Roller Coaster, you've done Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, you've gone over, got yourself a nice frozen lemonade. The first Beauty and the Beast show is usually somewhere in the area of like 10 o'clock, 30 or so minute show. So you're probably looking at close to 10:30, 11 o'clock when all this is said and done, and you're walking into Toy Story Land. Woody's Lunchbox is a great place for a snack. They may still be serving, depending on the time of day, the breakfast tachos. Love me some tachos.
Those are so good.
Or they also have the chili cheese tachos.
The breakfast ones are better, though.
Depending on what time you get there, if they're still serving breakfast, you may want to go with the breakfast tachos. If they're serving lunch, you may want to go with the chili cheese tachos. I think both are very good. A great snack. Around this time, you may be coming up on your lightning lane. Right? So you got to keep that in mind, that it may be time for your lightning lane to ride Slinky Dog Dash. If it is, great. Hop right on there. If it's not, Alien Swirling Saucers and Toy Story Midway Mania are usually two pretty solid options. Slinky Dog, the Spinning Saucers never really gets too long of a line. And Toy Story Mania is a pretty efficient ride. So if you're riding that in the morning, the lines are usually never too awful. They have 3 sides to this ride. They keep people moving through it. It's not an omni-mover ride, but it's pretty darn close to it.
Right.
And they move people through that ride pretty rapidly. So riding that anytime before noon, really, is not a bad option. So in that time frame, right, from the time that you've walked into Hollywood Studios, you have banged out two of the largest attractions in the park, most popular attractions, with a limited wait time, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. You've now watched one of the premiere shows in Hollywood Studios in Beauty and the Beast. You've done kind of a little secondary show at Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. And now you have rode two additional rides, Slinky Dog, the Alien Swirling Saucer, and Toy Story Midway Mania. That's a pretty solid start to the morning.
I think so.
And now you are ready around lunchtime to begin that transition, either to go back to your hotel and to take that break in the middle of the day, which we always suggest, or if you're staying in the park, now is a good time to take advantage of some of those shows in Hollywood Studios that are inside the AC. Things like the Frozen Sing-Along is a great option for the middle of the day. Good place to sit down, enjoy that show in the nice AC. If you have the smaller kids, Playhouse Disney in the courtyard over by The Little Mermaid is a good option. The Little Mermaid show, recently back, is also a very good option to sit down and watch that show, as is Muppet Vision 3D. So you have a lot of options of shows that are inside the air conditioning that are good shows to watch in that middle point of the day. And you are prepping yourself for at night, either when those lightning lanes come up, right, and you get that availability, or you get that callback time for Rise of the Resistance or Slinky Dog Dash. You're not too far away from either of those points to go ride those rides. And you're saving those other rides like the Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run. If you ride that later in the day, there's usually not a line. You can usually pretty easily walk on to Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run later in the day. You're not doing that in the morning. Save that one for later in the day, as save Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for later in the day too, as well. Star Tours, don't worry about that ride. You can pretty much ride that at any point that you want without a limited line.
Yeah, people don't really go for that one.
Well, it's been kind of surpassed by other rides in Hollywood Studios.
And Galaxy's Edge is absolutely amazing at night. So, as is Toy Story
Toy Story Land.
So I can definitely see waiting for those. Definitely get your lightning lane whenever you can, your boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, but definitely going back at night, it's definitely worth it to go back. So yeah, I mean, that's already, even just until 12, that's 4 rides and 2 shows in your first 4 hours of park opening.
Highly efficient use of time. Highly efficient use of time. Definitely. So Hollywood Studios, I think the big idea here is do not go to the rides that everybody else goes to first thing in the morning. Don't go to Galaxy's Edge first thing in the morning. Do not go to Toy Story Land first thing in the morning. Head down Sunset Boulevard and knock out the classics first, and it's going to set you up for a better day in the long run. Tower of Terror, up until park close, is going to have a long line. Yeah. First thing in the morning is the best time to hit it when other people are going to other rides. Same deal with Rock and Roller Coaster. That's how we would suggest rope dropping Hollywood Studios to maximize your time in Hollywood Studios and get the most done. I think today is a good day to bring back something that we did in earlier episodes that we have not done in a long time, since we're on this idea of going to Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. You keep saying Terra. And Rock and Roller Coaster first thing in the morning. Would you rather ride Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror?
First thing in the morning?
Just in general. Which one do you like better?
I'm going to have to go with overall, not just in the morning.
Overall.
I'm going to have to go with the Tower of Terror. Is that what you would go with?
Of course that is. It is one of my favorite rides in Walt Disney World.
I would have to go with Tower of Terror.
I think all around,
I just think it
it's a
has
better
a longer
experience.
storyline and it has like a longer, like,
Aerosmith,
creepy.
I love you
kinda
guys. I love you. You're great. Okay.
thing. Anyways,
Throw in a few more superlatives. At the end of the day, it's a fun roller coaster with some
Yes.
neat theming, but Tower of Terror, all around, just the storyline, the thrills, the intenseness of it. Gosh, you don't get any better. And I love rides that drop like that. I love that sensation of dropping like that. So it especially holds a special place in my heart because I like those kind of rides. Not everybody does, but I do. Tower of Terror, I have to agree, is my choice. And I think it should be your choice for the first ride that you do in the morning.
I mean, it
Just
definitely
keep
gets
in mind,
the blood
depending
pumping.
on what you ate for breakfast, right? You have a light breakfast that morning, just in case. Don't want anybody getting sick on their first ride of the day. That would not be a good way to start the day.
No,
So
that's
keep
not-
that in mind.
That's not very good.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. As always, follow us on our social media accounts for the latest updates. You can message us through those social media accounts if you have any questions or comments, or you can send us an email at startswithawish.podcast@gmail.com.
Yes, you can.
And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.